What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Different Views podcast. Our first in studio podcast with just us two. We're excited to do this today. We appreciate all the likes, comments, and subscribers to our YouTube channel, and all the likes and comments we get on all our social media platforms. We really appreciate that, and keep giving us feedback, man. We really want to engage with our audience, our followers, and everybody. And just let us know any topics or people y'all want to have on or want to see it on our podcast. Again, we encourage any and everyone to come on the podcast. We appreciate all y'all again. Today we want to give a little motivation for Monday again, another motivational Monday episode, and we want to start off by talking about the flaws, understanding your flaws, and just being real with yourself. And I know for me, I feel like it's always been a thing where I understood who I was, and I was always just honest with myself. Even if it was sometimes where it would be hard to. I know for me, it was always a thing where I had to be honest with myself. Um, what do you feel like, as far as you? When did you start understanding your flaws,
Um,
being honest about them, and understanding them?
the first thing I think it took was understanding, like we just said, understanding my flaws, like understanding personal growth. I should say, understanding my flaws, understand like what I was doing wrong, and I think the biggest thing I learned first was like I self-sabotaged myself with a lot, and I think like that took me away from missing opportunities, missing things that I worked for to get. Like it self-sabotaged just from relationships, and I just noticed it. And I'm like, okay, what do I do to fix this? And then I was like, okay. So then I noticed first I noticed the flaw, understood like, okay, how do I fix this? And I understood what the problem was. So I started working on it. And then I just started working on just other flaws of myself and just really just getting in and tapping in. That's why I took that break. Like I was telling you, when I took that break from just social media, took that break from everybody to kind of like isolate myself because I knew I was pouring into others and I wasn't pouring into myself. Right. So I locked in on the spiritual side, on the physical side, on the mental side, and then the business side of just what I got going on. And then I noticed like, okay, as those little wins just started adding up, I just started doing different things and like, okay, I was like, I'm growing. But it's like understanding. I sometimes always want, like we talk, I always want like the big success and the achievement, but I gotta just accept the small wins and know those small wins really add up to something big. So I think that was the first thing I noticed with like the personal growth, just doing those things, and that helped me tremendously these past couple months.
What do you think was, or not was? What do you think is for anybody? Like, what do you think is the hardest thing to accepting, like your flaws, or because I feel like it's like a thing where it's like people accept their flaws and they just be like, oh, that's who I am. And then there's like a thing where it's like, I accept my flaws, but I know I can change them or grow from them. Like, what do you think is the factor that differentiates the two?
I think accepting one is of course accepting them, and then not worrying about other people's opinions. Like, and I think that's the thing. People worry about people. I think honestly, if people weren't worried about other people's judgment on their flaws, then it wouldn't bother them. Because like I feel like too, like you wouldn't know it's a flaw, and depending on what it is, like you wouldn't know it's a problem until other people gave judgment on it. Like you would think that shit was normal, and then when other people start giving their feedback, you're like, damn, like this is wrong. And it don't matter what it is. Like if it's simple as like shit you have like having, I can't even think of a bad habit you may have, like, right, you don't know it's a problem until somebody tells you it's a problem. So I think that's like the first, like a thing too, and just accepting them, and then if you don't like them, fix it. I think like we always say, like if you don't like something, fix it. And if it's out of your control, then you just gotta learn to accept it and to love who you are, because that's just something unique about yourself when it comes to certain flaws. But if you can fix it because it's affecting others in a negative way, then correct it and fix it. But if it's just you want to fix it because others' opinions is bothering you from it, then okay, then accept it and love it, have self love too with that part. But
What you said would go into, it made me think about another question, like, the balance of, because I feel like it's always people try to make things like 100% this or 100% that, or it's always this or always that. So you see people, they be like, don't care about what anybody say, like, don't worry about people who judge you, whatever, whatever. But it's like, at some point, you gotta worry about that, or you gotta accept people's judgment, because some people's judgment could make or break your career, or let you in the door, or whatever. And then it's like, your reputation as well. Like your reputation is how you represent yourself towards others. So it's like you gotta have a balance of caring what people think and not caring what people think. So what do you think is like the balance, or how do you balance that as far as like you thinking about that question?
I think when it comes to that, I think I would take into consideration what somebody says with feedback, and apply it if needed. But I think sometimes what people do is like somebody like judge them and they be like, man, you shouldn't do that. And they just automatically change it without really understanding why. I think like if somebody is gonna like when somebody does judge or give their opinion, take into consideration and think about should I change this way or should I do this or do that, and then if it makes sense to you, then change it. But don't just. I think what happens is people hear a judgment like, oh, I ain't gonna go this way because he don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like their opinion don't matter, and I think I learned that too. Like it sounds cliche, but like people always gonna have something to say no matter what you're doing, good or bad. Yeah. So I think that's the thing too. You're gonna drive yourself nuts trying to always fix yourself. And that's when you lose. I think that's when it's true. That's when people lose themselves as well. Because like you didn't try to be this, be that, try to have this characteristic, this personality, and it's like that ain't even you. So now when you try to return back to the core, you lost. Like so now, and those people ain't even there because really their opinion, they didn't really care. They just wanted to add their 2 cents to something. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. When people do judge you, take into consideration, think about it, and if it's something that can bring self-improvement, then do it. But if it's useless information, don't pay it no mind.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing with just understanding who's really giving a genuine opinion and who's hating. I mean, but it's like you said, it's not in your control if they're hating or not. Like it's just in your control how you interpret it and how you go about it. But like even just with accepting an opinion or judgment, it's like you said, you got to understand, is the judgment going to help me? You got to analyze the opinion, analyze the advice, influence, whatever, and see if it works for you, if it's lining up with what they're saying, is lining up with your actions and how you're going about shit. So I feel like it's just a balance with that. And then the people who are giving opinions or advice or knowledge or whatever, it's like, if you are giving an opinion on something, explain why, explain what you see, and explain how to fix it if it's an opinion to get better or grow or whatever. Like, don't just give a judgment or opinion and then not give an explanation on why or how to fix it. And if you don't know, then try to help try to fix it, or don't say nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Like people, I think that's the balance of like, when you be like, I don't care what they say, or if it's like, I do care what they say, or I do respect their opinion. It's when it comes with the explanation, or if it comes with why or how, you know what I'm saying? If it's just an opinion and then they don't say nothing after that, it's just like, now you sound like you hate. Like, I don't really care about that.
And who it comes from too. I think that's like you were about to say, and I think you said it a little bit. Who it comes from too. Like I think people take judgment from people who ain't even a credible source. Like you can't listen to your homeboy on physical health when he ain't healthy. Like right, exactly. I think that's the thing too. But and then like you said too, don't be ignorant to judgment. I think when I was the immature me, and when I would always somebody be like, man, you shouldn't act. People always say I was childish. Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't be. You so childish. I don't care. Like, but it was like now I realized too, like I wasn't being, understanding and self-aware, and I didn't have self-control to where my actions were affecting people in a negative way. So then that's when I realized, like, okay, that's what I need to fix. Like, right. I need to be open to this judgment because I'm being negative in a sense. So, and that's the thing, be open to. That's why I said be open to judgment, and take into consideration that, and if it can bring self-improvement. Apply it. But if it doesn't, then just ignore it. Because again, people are always gonna have something to say. And make sure it's from a credible source too. Like I think that's the thing too. But yeah.
Yeah. I think people need to understand what a credible source is too though. Like I think people will take opinions or take advice or like listen to people who just have a status or like a celebrity or whatever, and it's just like, that don't mean they're a credible source. One, sometimes they never even went through the experience that you went through, so they wouldn't even know how to like give you advice on it. But two, it's just like, just because they have a higher status or whatever, it doesn't mean that they know everything. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the world can get better and learn more stuff. So I feel like people, like for instance, like if I got a son, or I do have a son, but say I'm talking to my son and it's just like, I'm talking to him about like golf or just computer science or whatever, but I'm giving him advice on how to go about something. I don't have to be a credible source as far as like golf, because I never played golf, but it's like I'm giving you advice that can help you understand how to go about something. So I'm still a credible source because I went through experiences that were similar, just in a different sport or a different fashion or whatever. And somebody who may have played golf or is in computer science may not even be your credible source because they're telling you something that don't pertain to you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people need to establish what a credible source is for them, and particular situation for sure.
And like you said too, like people do always go after the successful people to get advice, but it's like
Yeah.
those ones, and I don't want to say ones who always go after ones who failed a lot, because of course go after people successful too, because they can give you guidance in certain ways. But ask that person who like failed too, because like they really can give you a lot of advice. Like, and I say that like I met a man back home at the Y, and like bro took so many losses, but like he had so many gems and wisdom, and he, even though he never reached certain success or wherever he wanted to be, he was truly peaceful and fulfilled with his life. Like,
Yeah.
so it was like I was learning a lot. And too, bro, like we always talk about like our childhoods and like how we grew up. Like they ain't not a piece of standard of what we want to be,
Right.
but it's like we learned so much from their ways. Like shit, just the way my stepdad would always hustle. Even though it wasn't the right way, but it was still, I just learned that hustle, getting up every morning. Like the routines we used to talk about how they used to be, like,
Right.
but it was like we learned that routine and we applied it to our adult life now, but we just apply it different ways. So
Right.
I think too, just be
Right.
open to be open to advice. I think people, like we tell the young dudes too, like if you listen to the wisdom and the knowledge that people are trying to give you, then your life would be way more peaceful too, in a sense with that too. But
Yeah. Learning that shit, like you said, from my dad or your stepdad, like just seeing the way that they hustle or whatever, it's just like, yeah, it was the wrong way or whatever. But like you said, you can apply it. Like I said, you don't have to be getting advice from the perfect person or the person who did what you're trying to do. You can get advice from somebody else that failed, you know what I'm saying? Like, or failed in some different aspect of life, because you're learning from the lessons, you're learning from the losses, you know what I'm saying? So you can give advice on certain ways of how to do things, even if it don't pertain specifically to what you're trying to do as far as like a skill set or
Yeah.
whatever. But if it comes to just like a life lesson, man, you can get gems from anybody. Like I remember I was talking to a homeless dude when I was training in Arizona, and I would see him like damn near every day, and I would like give him food and shit. I would never give him money because I don't ever give homeless people money because I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But it's just like I would give him food and we would just be talking, you know what I'm saying? And he would just give me stuff like just basic shit, but it would be powerful when I think
Yeah.
about it now. Of course, I was younger. I was what, like 6 years ago. So I wouldn't really like think about it in a deep sense. But just things that he would just say, like he'd just be like, I appreciate you so much. And it's just like little things like that. I never really heard that at home. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you so much. And just like I say that now a lot to my fiance or should you or my mom or my kids or just even the boys, like when they say little things like, may I get a ride? And I just be like, I appreciate the way you asked. It's like it's just little things like that. But it's like that's so powerful. And I got that from a homeless dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
gratitude.
what is he gonna ever do for me as far as football or my career? Nothing. But it's just like he showed me gratitude for life because this man is homeless and he's still just showing his appreciation for any little thing I do, just giving him food. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, it's just you don't have to always go for those successful people to get advice. You can go to anywhere and get advice for real.
Yeah, for sure. And two, I kind of want to go. I don't want to like shift off too much, but I kind of want to go into that real quick. Listening to, like, I think that's the thing too. Like, people need to start listening more to just the feedback and listening when people are talking to them. I think sometimes people like you, and I noticed that like people hear you, and like you ask somebody like,
listening is
yeah, like
different
it's two
thing.
different things, bro. Like, and I be talking to somebody like, what I just say, huh? Like, bro, you ain't even listening. So it's like I'm just repeating myself. So I think that too, really listen and listen to what people are really telling you, because if you really listen to it, like what they're telling you is really, you might be like, oh man, they trying to dog me, but if you really listen to it, they're really just trying to help you,
Right.
and really trying to help you see you do good and be good. But yeah.
You got a question?
I kind of wanted to shift into. I kind of want to shift into like talking about parents and listening to their kids. But I don't want to shift. That ain't really personal growth. We can go to mindset. We can touch based on mindset. I think with mindset too. I think that's a real important thing because I didn't learn that. But I think people need to know the difference. I think people don't fully understand like mental strength and like being strong mentally. Like, um, I've been really learning that. Like, and then it comes in all different forms and ways. But it's like really when you have that pressure applied, like. And it no matter what it is, like we was just saying, like run it, like we was saying, just working out, like when you like all them thoughts in your head, all those thoughts in your head, and
put it down. Oh,
but
oh my bad.
like all those thoughts in your head, like when you want to quit and you like, man, I can't do this, I can't do it. Like that mental strength to be able to keep pushing. And two, mental health. I think people don't know and I know like mental strength and mental health are two different things, but I think people don't fully truly know what mental health is. Like since we touched on personal growth, I want to get into it. Like people don't understand like it's the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. But if you ask somebody truly what it is, like I don't think they really know. Like, and even like when you got like mental illness, like I think people don't really know what that is. Like, and this is the simplified in my ways. I just feel like mental illness is like just again the negative thoughts that you have in your head of how you think and how you feel, the negative way of how you feel, the negative way of how you act. But I don't think people really know like what it is. And of course it's probably a bigger the term, the proper way to say it, but that's my way of breaking it down. That's what I realized that's what it is in my way.
Yeah.
And like I'll be looking this stuff up and like really studying it. So like when I hear people saying they go and do mental health issues, and not saying they not or they are, but it's like learn how to heal from it. Like learn how to work on it. Like the little trauma, the little things that I experienced through my childhood. Like I figured out how to get through it. And at first I used to just block it out. Like, I'm strong, I can ignore it. Yeah. But it's like, no, mental strength is like handling that too. Like handling it and taking care of that wound the proper way. Like, and we was just talking like, I really get through it. Like I learned to talk to you. But I think that was the biggest thing too. I didn't have nobody to go back to the listening and hearing. I didn't have nobody to really listen to what I was going through on the mental health side. So finding somebody that'll really listen to you and give you the proper feedback on it, and taking head on with your issues that you have. And it's easier said than done to really handle mental health within the personal growth, but like work towards it. Right. Like I think people don't even try to attempt to like really take care of themselves the proper way. And when you do, you really feel good about it. And I took into what she said when we had her on last couple episodes, when she was just saying like, you truly heal from something when you talk about it or it comes up, like you don't have no sad emotions from it. And I'm like that shit is true. Like, and I'm like, that's crazy. So it's like, and I be realizing too, like, damn, like that really don't bother me because it's like I don't feel no type of way how I used to. Like
I let that shit go.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, I grew. Like that's personal growth. Now once I healed from that issue, I was able to level up more, and because I wasn't stuck in that feeling. I was able to get to the next level, and I realized I had to take care of that in order to grow more. And that's why I'm glad I took those couple months to handle myself. And I wasn't going through no mental thing really, honestly. But it was just, again, like I just wanted to work on myself in different areas to grow so I can avoid it. And that's the thing too. I've never experienced depression or anxiety or all the other ones, like all the other diagnoses that people have. Yeah. But I seen people with it. Yeah. And that just scared me. I'm like, man, I don't want to go through that. Right. Like, so I take care of myself and I study and learn so I don't experience those things, bro. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I be saying some people like, that's just scary. I be like, damn, like, I don't want to get stuck like that. Like, I go through that. Like, I be feeling bad for people, but it's like, in a sense, I won't allow myself, and I don't want to say it like that, but like, I won't allow myself to get like that, bro. Like, I just won't. Real. And not to, again, in case anybody, I'm not downplaying nobody who does experience or anything like that. I'm just, with all that to say, like, whatever you're going through, work on handling it and don't avoid that discomfort. Really take care of your mental health and watch how much you level up. Take care of yourself in all areas, but that mental part, you will really grow a lot once you really take care of that part.
Yeah, so as far as the mental strength thing, like, explain what you mean by mental strength. Like, what is mental strength to you?
Mental strength is just not giving up through the hard times. I think what I realized mental strength, I used to think like, oh, I'm mentally strong because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm doing it, but is it really adding value to me? And I realized when that pressure is on, when that adversity hits, like, I think it's better to give an example of when football didn't work for me, right? The mental strength to keep going, like out of high school. Mm-hmm. Man, I could have quit. I could have gave up. And it's like, I had those thoughts in my head. And I would even have days where I'm like, man, this ain't it. But I would keep going, right? So mental strength to me is like, no matter what situations, no matter what the circumstances are, you keep going, you keep figuring it out, and you stay strong, and you don't let whatever you're going through crush you. To a sense, and that's my definition of mental strength. People might have their own, but like in my sense, it's when that pressure is on, you don't let them bad situations just crush you. You keep going, and I guess that's a little bit of resilience as well. But
mental strength. I mean, mental strength is gonna be multiple things, like broad thing.
Yeah, but to me, it's just not giving up when that pressure. But it's not just going on with daily life. It's when adversity really hits, right, and you really down bad, and you ain't got nothing. How you gonna come up?
Right.
And like that's what I always tell little dudes, and I'm always honest. Man, I was broke. Man, I was broken. I didn't move to different places. I lived in Minnesota. I lived in Dallas. Now I'm here. Like, but I just never quit. I
Right.
always figured out a way. Like, and I was telling them, I said, man, it was days I ain't had a car. I ain't have a car. I used to walk to work. Bro. I used to get on the bus 6 in the morning. They go to school, and it's like that's the mental strength to. When it came to college, I could have. Nobody was. My mom didn't care if I went to college or not. She was happy that I graduated high school.
Mhm.
Nobody cared if I went to college. Like, so it was like, but that was my own thing. That was my standard as well. But it was like when the adversity hit, me riding the bus, I was getting off a midnight shift, bruh. Off at 6, getting on the bus at 6:45. I was taking a shower and going right to school. I ain't had to be at school until like 9. But anybody who ride the bus, you know, it take 2 hours to get somewhere on that bus. And man, I would still go to class every day, and I would do the same thing every day. And there'd be days I want to quit, but it was like I can't quit. And that was the thing. I didn't have nobody really motivated me to stay on me. So that was when the mental part I had to be strong mentally. So that's when I grew in mental. But I always used to be like, if I ain't perfect, if things ain't going right, that's mental strength. Nah, like it's when the adversity hits, how you gonna react to it?
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say when you said never quit. That's what I was just thinking of. Like a simple definition of mental strength with me is just keep going. Like no matter what you're going through, if it's good or bad, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like mental strength comes in even when shit is going good. Like how do you keep it consistently? Like you gotta have mental strength to keep shit going good. You know what I'm saying? Not just bad, but obviously the bad is it takes more mental strength. So I feel like there's levels. You got mental strength when the shit is going good. You have to keep shit consistent. You have to keep going. You have to keep up with whatever you're doing. But then obviously when it's bad, it takes more mental strength to get through adversity, to pick yourself back up, to keep going, to not quit, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I feel like it's just to keep going. Like for me, that's my just my broad definition of it. And it has resilience, it has compassion, it has integrity, it has responsibility, accountability, all that in there. Um but just a broad definition for me is just keep going. Like shit, I've been through I feel like I've been through so many different environments. Like nigga, the way I grew up from being born to what fourth grade. I wouldn't even say fourth grade. I would say third grade because I was with my mom, and it was just like I watched her, single mom, struggle. You know what I'm saying? The normal story of a black mom in Canton, Ohio, Massillon, whatever. 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever, working nights, like leaving me at home by myself, not intentionally, but it's just like she gotta work, she gotta
Yeah.
provide for me, you know what I'm saying? Watching her do all that. And then living with my dad, moving my dad in fourth grade, and then him having a wife, but still was like it wasn't a struggle, but it wasn't like we was just there
Yeah.
financially, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like that's not my mom, so it's like she got her kids and it's more kids, so it's like it still felt similar, you know what I'm saying, when I was with my mom. And then going to Angel, like my dad's second wife, like she got money. Like I'm seeing
Yeah.
the big house and the big yard. I get whatever I want if I ask for it. But then I was molded already by being with my mom and like my first stepmom, and it was just like I would never would be the person to just ask for this, ask for that, or be spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Even though she would try to spoil me, I just wasn't accustomed to that. I always wanted to earn shit. You know what I'm saying? And then me being with her, and then going to Ohio State, I kind of put myself in a position to be how I was when I was with my mom, to like earn and like struggle. Because I could have asked Angel, and I did ask her for stuff when I actually like fully need it, so I didn't get in a bad spot. But there was times where I had like $1 in my account, you know what I'm saying? Like just had to wait till the next paycheck. So I wanted to learn how to do that shit on my own. Um, and then rising up to the league, you know what I'm saying? I get drafted. Now I'm in a real comfortable financial spot. So I feel like I just had to keep going. Like I said, mental strength was on the highs and the low ends, like where I was up and I had to just keep finding ways to keep my mindset to keep going, to stay strong or whatever. And then there was times where I was down and I was just like, I got to keep going. I got to lift myself back up to get back to that spot. So I was just really putting myself in different, I didn't put myself, I was in different environments and different situations to have and learn like what my mental strength was, and that was really resilience, and that's why I got that shit tatted on my hand. Like it was so many things that I had to just keep going through, whether it was high or low. It wasn't just all bad shit. It was good shit that I was doing that I had to have mental strength to keep doing. You know what I'm saying? And then shit, even with my rape case, like when that shit came out, it was like that was that was damn near at my highest peak in my career. Like as far as before the draft, like I was about to get drafted. I was about to go first round, and that shit just hit. And it's like, damn, what the fuck? I might not even get drafted. I might go to jail. Like, my whole life is just at risk right now. And this is like, how do I keep going with that? Like, that's a real battle for me. Like, and it's just like you said, it's just like, oh, I'm strong, I'm mentally strong. And just like, nigga, yeah, that should only go for a couple days, a couple weeks, nigga. You might go to jail, nigga. Like, ain't no, I'm gonna get through that. It's not even in my faith, or it's not even in my hands. My fate ain't even in my hands. It's like in other people's hands that they decide that I'm guilty. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't do shit, knowing that the whole time. But that was my mental strength, knowing that I didn't do it the whole time and just trusting God like that. I was just gonna be found innocent. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it was just a lot of different environments for me that I went through highs and lows, like I said, to keep mental strength for sure.
No, and to kind of go back to that real quick, like draft day, like your draft, like the draft day party, like to how you were still in high spirits, at least to us, like you was still smiling, still, still trying to keep the energy up a little bit. You weren't letting that beat you up too bad, and you were blessed and fortunate enough to still get drafted and everything, and still keep going, and even still being able to play these past couple years with the case still going on, and just dealing with the injury, and that's why I'd be like, I'm glad, I'm blessed to be able to move out here and to be around you more, to really experience like that, like, and not just saying it because you right here, like really to be able to be around you, like just dealing with the injury, like to still see you out on the field. And like I might see you rub your leg and you still might do a rep. And I'm like, and it's just like, damn. So it'd be reminding me sometimes like, man, that's why I asked you the other day when we was in the garage, like being able to balance everything, like being a father, being an athlete, being a trainer, being a mentor, being a friend, like you carry and juggle a lot. That's why I'm always asking questions. That's why I'd be like, I ain't trying to be like all in your business. I just be curious because I be just wanting to know, like, how are you able to do that? And it's just like, in the sense too, it makes me be more grateful because it's like, man, I think I'm going through this, and it's like, man, he's dealing with this case, and you still going, like you still balancing everything. So I just think that's real dope, and I know you probably do give yourself your flowers, but like just seeing that, like, man, I appreciate to be around that because it helps me sharpen my mental health as well, and I mean my mental health and my mental strength as well. So to say that too, to remind other folks, like, man, find you people who are holding their self to a high standard, and that'll help you as well. But
yeah, that's the thing, bro. I really feel like I treat life as like there's always somebody doing worse than me. So I got to be grateful. Like I'm really grateful to just wake up every day to get to try again for whatever I'm doing. But it's just so many people that's going through way worse shit than I'm going through, bro. So it's like I can't really complain. And then I always feel like there's a balance with everything. And it's it's something in my own head, but I feel like I'm really good at like balance workouts and shit, like stability shit. And I work on that shit all the time. No matter what I do, I always, if I'm doing upper body, lower body, I always do some type of balance workout. But I do it because that's how I take life. And whether it pertains to it or correlates or whatever, like I literally do it because I feel like there's a balance with everything in life. There's a good and a bad of everything you do or everything that comes about in life. So I feel like that's why I'm able to stay balanced in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I got a lot of shit that I go through or have to like have responsibility for, family, friends, football, going through injuries, cases, draft highs and lows. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do I find that middle ground, that balance to balance that the weight scale or to balance the high or the low? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's just the way I take life, and that's why I'm good at fucking balance workouts and shit. That's it. But I want to ask you, like, as far as going back to the mental strength thing, like, for somebody that, because you said like people go through depression, anxiety, all those things, and it's just like you never went through that because you didn't want yourself to get to it, and it's like I did the same thing. Like I won't say I don't believe in depression or anxiety or all those things. I don't believe in it for myself. Like I think people take it wrong when I say I don't believe in depression. I just don't believe it for myself because I won't let myself get there. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that I would never get there. You know, anything can happen. But I mean, I don't care. I won't let myself get there. It ain't gonna happen to me. Like not to say like those. You know, like it can't happen to you. Like it can, but I just won't let that shit happen. And that's mental strength for me. But as far as you, like, how do you feel like people could get out of it, or how do you feel like people would prevent it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what's some ways that you prevent yourself from ever getting there? Like,
I think, and I'll say this for example, with me moving out here,
yeah,
like with training, bro, I was training like 30, 40 athletes back home
hmm
to coming out here and not training.
right,
Like June and July, I didn't train. I trained here and there, but like consistent. I was training like 30, 40 kids. I was like at the top of my peak back home. Like I was working with college athletes, high
full
school.
time.
Yeah, like, and I was at it. So, I really have a strong love for training. So it was like to not go training at all.
hmm
Some days, weeks, like I ain't gonna lie, bro. It'd be some days I'd be like, man, I don't feel like doing nothing. I don't want to move. I
Yeah,
don't want to get up.
I be having
But it was like I gotta get up. I gotta keep going. So that's why I'd be like, you training today, and I just go watch you train or watch you at the field. Like I'd be
Mhm.
like, you working out, and I just want to just I still just want to be around it. So it was like,
Not to cut you off, but so you said it was that days because I have days like that where like my leg was hurting, I don't want to go work out. You got that point where you like one training for a minute and it's just like, man, I don't want to do shit. What made you want to, even like you say, you wanted to just come to my workout, or what made you want to do that? Because you went from, man, I don't want to do shit,
yeah,
and then it's like you're sitting there not doing that because you're thinking about not doing shit, and then it's like, what change or what transitions, what comes into your head for you to go do something,
it was a
or
it
what
was
makes
a,
you want to go do it?
it was a sense of like I gotta still be around it. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, if I can't physically be out there doing it, I was like, I could still learn. So that's why I go out there and I'll be asking you questions. And I'll be like, it ain't that. I just want to learn, like, why you did this or why you do that. Because it's like, I still want to be connected to it somehow. And it was a sense of, too, like, even though I'm not training at this moment, that doesn't mean that I still don't work on my craft of being a trainer. So I'm like, with me just sitting, I could just sit here and sit around the house, but it's like, what is that really doing? So I was like, I got to get up and keep going. Like I said, so when time get called, like I'm ready. And I remember I ended up training like those two dudes that came down, the one that was in the NFL and then the one that was in the USFL, the two D linemen. They
Yeah.
ended up coming. So I ended up and I was like, okay, boom. Like I just got to keep going, keep working. I just got to keep just being patient. I was like, and then I went back to when I wasn't training, but when I first started being a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
like now I'm like, man, I be trying to like give myself gratitude and remind myself like you really started from nothing. So to remember that, and it was like, but now it's then you started it with nothing. No, it was just a vision.
Yeah.
You didn't have no equipment. You didn't have no kids. So it's like now you got the equipment. I got the knowledge. I know how to market myself better. It was like just be patient and just keep working it. And when your time comes, and stuff's slowly been working out. And I don't think you remember this either. I remember the day it was November 6th. You had texted me. It was just like I keep going. You just get. It was just like a little gratitude, like a little motivational text. I don't even think you remember, but it was like that day, bruh. It was just like, man, this ain't it.
Yeah.
I was at the where I'm always the place. And I'm just like, man, I think I told you like I'm not reaching my full potential here, bro. And it was like it was killing me.
Yeah.
But it was like you got find the positives, and I think that's what helped me too to say all what I said. Like really to come down to it, find the positives in those those bad situations that you don't want to be in. Those
I think
Find-
that was the answer.
yeah,
I was
that to
looking
really
for.
break it down,
Yeah.
find the positive and find the happiness in all circumstances, even if they aren't what your expectations of true happiness is. And that's what I reminded myself a lot. Like even though I'm not in the circumstances, I still need to be positive. I still need to keep going. And then it reminds me too, like don't be ungrateful. Like shit, you work to be out here. Like I've been saying it. I remember I made a post like I can't wait to living
Yeah.
in visiting Ohio and not living in Ohio. I made
Right.
that when I left your camp last December, and it's like, bro, I'm out here now. So
Right.
it's like, be grateful for the achievements that you do have and live in those moments but find that positive mindset.
Yeah.
Find the positive in all situations.
I think that's the biggest thing, and that's hard as shit when you going through some shit. Like you don't want to think about nothing positive because all you thinking about is negative. But that's the easy way out, to just think about the negative shit. Like finding positive. I think that was the answer I was looking for. Like when you don't want to do shit, when you don't feel like getting up, you don't feel like working out, you don't feel like going to work, you don't feel like doing some extra shit. Like even if you don't gotta do it, you know what I'm saying? If it's just something that help you reach your goals, like you just gotta find a positive to help you get up and go do it or whatever. Like just find something that makes you happy, makes you laugh or reminisce or think about where you came from, shit like that. Like just find a positive in the negative situation. And you may not even fuck around and still do something, but you still took a chance to learn yourself or take that mental break, you know what I'm saying, to think about something positive. You know what I'm saying? That may help you just mentally for the next time you don't want to
Yeah.
do some shit. It ain't just about that one time, you know?
No, and that's true. Like I remind myself, like you said, I remind myself all the time. Stay positive, stay positive, stay happy in these circumstances. So now it's like I have fulfillment with how I'm living now, but I'm not satisfied with it. I say that I'm not satisfied with my circumstances, but I have fulfillment and I'm happy with them. Like if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But I always want more. I always want more for myself. Like and once I change my ways, I got a client, right? I got a client that locked in fully. I got kids who come a little bit more consistently, and two, I'm not tripping on that, right? I'm figuring out ways, if I can't physically train, how can I still connect with kids, right? So I'm still texting them, I'm still hitting them up, I'm still sending them workouts. So I'm not physically training, but I'm still helping kids. And I say that all the time. And I had to remind myself why I do what I do. Like it was to be a resource, it was to be a help. So even though I'm not physically out there telling them to do stuff, I'm still checking the little homies back home, chopping it up with them, texting them, sending them little health stuff, sending them workouts to do. So I'm still helping in some way too. So, you know. But.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the name of the game right there is just helping other people. You know what I'm saying? Like once you help other people, your blessings are gonna come back full circle, and you're gonna achieve what you want as far as any goal. Honestly, not even just specific goals, any goal. Like you gotta help and pay it forward to anybody that needs advice, anybody that needs help, and if you just see somebody that if you feel like you just need to talk to them or give them advice, like helping them will help you. You know what I'm saying? And just having that mental strength and mental ability to just, like I said, find a balance. Like you said, find the positivity in the negative. Like I feel like that was a real good explanation, is just to find the positives. Like people just need to find the positives in every negative situation, and to just keep going. Like I said, that's what mental strength is for me. Whatever your definition is, but if anything to take away from anything I said today is just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing about me is, like I said, I got resilient tatted on my hand because I feel like I can get through anything. I've been through so much hard shit, and it's just like I could have easily gave up. Like I said today, I was running and I was just like, man, I threw up. I'm like, man, I did more than I would have. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to just go home. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm about to just do these last two. I'm gonna get through it. And then I was like, fuck it. I'm about to just jog around the track one more time. Like I ended with like a 400, and I was like, man, I'm not about to do this 400. I'm not about to do this shit. I'm done. I'm good. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm about to just do it because I never really, you know what I'm saying, like push myself or had to push myself. You know what I'm saying? I grew in that instance because like I said, I always had a schedule. I always had people telling me what to do in college, telling me what to do in the league. And it was just like, I've been on my own for damn near 3 years. And it's like, I feel like today was the most growth I've had in 3 years because it was the point where I wanted to give up and I ended up doing extra. Like, I didn't even just finish my workout. I did an extra 400 because I was like, fuck that. I'm about to be back playing. I got to get right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just be resilient and keep going, man, for sure. You got anything else?
Nah, really, like you said though, just keep going and find even if you can't be positive, but even if you can't do what you want to do at the moment, you still have other options and other resources and things that you can be working on about yourself. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me take care of my physical. Let me get in the gym for real. Let me start working on it. I read more. I'm still a college student. So I'm like, I need to put more effort in that. So I'm like, I could put more, even though I'm not training right now. It's like I need to get studying more and like working more on my schoolwork. So I'm like, even though I can't pour into one thing, I could be pouring into other things because it's like I want to be able to do multiple things and be a successful. And I learned that too. Like I want to have a high title and reach a high level of success.
Yeah.
But that shit comes with a lot of pressure. That shit comes with a lot. So it'd be like, come on, how you gonna respond to that? And I'll be realizing like, man, this shit gonna make me stronger. Like it makes my creativity when it comes to me making content. Now I got to be more creative. I got to market myself even better now. So it's like to get that attention to grab them customers and the clients that I need. So it makes me be more creative. So like that shit helps me in a sense, but we don't realize it. But going through that mental test, it will make you stronger if you look at it the right way. If you don't quit. So I've hope for everybody who did tuned in and watched this episode. I hope that's the main thing you noticed, picked up. No matter the circumstances that you are in, don't quit. Find a positive in it, and be happy with your circumstances and be blessed. Because I think you prayed to be where you're at. So, and you work to be where you're at. So be grateful for it. Live in the moment and just be blessed and don't quit.